What's up, everybody? How's it going? Ryan here, back with another episode of This Week in Hearthstone, episode 15. What's up, guys? How's it going? Going to be a little bit of a shorter episode today. There's really not much news that's been coming out for Hearthstone. When it comes to at least major things like major patches, major game changes and stuff, we are coming off of a Christmas break, but then we're also coming into the next year, quote unquote, of Hearthstone. For anyone who's new to the game or returning to the game and hasn't played in a while, we are still in the year of the Raven, the set rotation, or the next year where a bunch of sets will rotate out. Isn't coming until maybe around April, it seems. It has been officially announced, like we talked about a couple episodes back, that the Hearthstone World Championship will be in Taipei, I believe. And because of that, that won't be happening until about April or so. So keep that in mind that we still have a ways to go until a set rotation actually does happen. So it'll be interesting to see once the World Championship for 2018 happens. We will then be in the year of whatever for 2019, and that's when the set rotation and usually also major changes come. That's when we got the rank floor changes and all that type of good stuff to Hearthstone that happened. So keep that in mind as well. News is going to be kind of lackluster, a little bit down, but hopefully we get some in the future. Who knows, right? Before we really jump into things, just a quick reminder, as I do every show, that you can follow us on Spotify or iTunes if you want audio versions of our podcast. You can also check out unedited VODs on youtube.com/Shigeos, SHIGEOS, Twitch TV. As well as we record and stream this podcast live at twitch.tv/Ryan Kubo, currently every Thursday night if you want to go there and talk and check us out live. You can find all the links to that information down in the episode description/show notes that are attached to this episode. But yeah, let's just jump right into it. So, like I said, kind of light news this week. We have our first two kind of normal articles we go through, and then we have about four to five articles to talk about other stuff that's been happening in the world of Hearthstone. And then we'll kind of wrap it up. So hopefully we can get this under an hour or so that you guys can, stay informed. So first up, as always, it is Thursday. That means that yesterday, Wednesday, a new Hearthstone Tavern Brawl came out, or at least just Tavern Brawl came out. And it is called Chance Encounters in this weekly brawl. The description says, "We heard you like random cards. Choose a class, get a randomly filled deck of randomly random cards. Random." This is the second time we've seen this brawl. It made its debut on April 11th, 2018, and it will reward a classic card back for your first victory. As always, you can compete against friends to complete the Tavern Brawl quest to get your free card back. You can also play and complete quests with this Tavern Brawl as well. And it's pretty straightforward It's a pretty straightforward Tavern Brawl. You choose a hero, you get given a deck. That deck has most the cards will give random effects, kind of like Yogg effects or target randomly, blah, 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 blah. And discard random cards for Warlock, stuff like that. And that's really about it. Don't have to make your own deck, just have to jump in and play or whatever. So, yeah, it's kind of I don't personally really like it. I like the ones where you can build decks, but I can see where people would really enjoy this brawl, considering the fact that if you're free to play, new player, whatever it might be, you don't have to have a massive collection to actually play this brawl. So I totally can see why people enjoy it and like it and stuff like that. It's just not for me. I don't like the real random aspect for it. There's not really any repeatable playability within it. And then you're also looking at the deck. Like, the deck's just not really having a win condition in a sense, like a very straightforward win condition, because it's all like RNG, it's all random, it's all by chance. But either way, jump in there. As always, the brawl will go away by Monday morning at 12 a.m. PST or whatever time zone you're in. So yeah, keep that in mind. Get that classic pack, and yeah, have fun and good luck out there. Next up, we have the Vicious Syndicate Data Reaper report number 118. If you guys are new to the channel or this is your first episode, Vicious Syndicate is a website where you can go check out at vicioussyndicate.com that works in conjunction with hsreplay.net, which takes all the decks that were played this month, or this week, I should say, and compiles them all into statistical data. So it kind of shows what the meta is according to people using Hearthstone Deck Tracker and other plugins as well, like Tracobot and stuff like that. It's a pretty small sample size, but it gives a general gist of what most or some players are playing, obviously. Also, just a quick plugin, they have also acquired Arcane Deck Tracker. So you can now get the Hearthstone Deck Tracker essentially on your phone if you have Android at least. So go check that out and install that as well. It's free to download, and you just need an account, which is free to sign up. So we're on the 118th Data Reaper report with over 55,000 games with 4,900 active contributors. Me being one of them. Wow. They also announced that a wild data report will be published this Sunday, January 20th. Keep in mind that they do wild reports every month instead of every week. Keep in mind this is data from the past week. This can change depending if it's before next Thursday. I find the data somewhat accurate, somewhat not accurate, to be honest. There are decks in here that I was like, wow, really, that's number one. There's some decks in here that I'm like, yeah, that's not surprising, that's number one. But I've seen, it really depends, right? And the differences between tier 1 and tier 2 decks sometimes are, minuscule percentages. So keep that in mind as well, that just because something is number one doesn't mean that it can't be countered or it can't be beaten or has a 100% win rate, because it really doesn't. Overall, though, they track games, the least going down to rank 14, the highest obviously going to Legend. So they had 5,000 games in Legend, 22,000 in rank 1 and 4, 5 to 9, they had 22,000, and 10 to 14, they had 6,000 games. I would highly recommend also to check out the show notes in the episode description to see this data report as well. It's just way easier to follow and get a hold of this information. But I am trying my best to recount to you guys all the information that's in this data report as well. But yeah, we have a lot of decks that seem to be coming out of the Data Reaper report. Kind of scrolling down between match win rates and popularity and class frequencies that we've been seeing, which I kind of always ignore. Kind of get to the bulk of the article, which is about halfway down or so, called the Verse Power Rankings, where they kind of show all rankings, ranks 4 to 1, and legend ranks as well. So ranks 4 to 1, you're looking at mid-range hunter being being number one at 53.39% win rate, which is very, very good. Weekly change of 0.71. Even paladin. Oh, let me change this back. Mid-range hunter, odd paladin, hybrid hunter, control priest, and even paladin. Cube hunter, on rogue, spell hunter, resurrect priest, cube warlock, and even shaman. Now something like this, where it's like, oh wow, even shaman's the bottom of tier 2. Even shaman, they say, is at a 50% win rate at ranks 4 to rank 1. If we go to the all page, even shaman is at 51.18, whereas odd paladin is at 53.88. So yes, paladin technically has the best win rate or the best power level this week, but at the same time, it's not that huge of a difference, right? When you get down to like tier 4, that's definitely a difference of like 10%, which is a lot. Murloc mage at 38, control warlock at 45, stuff like that. You would want something at least a 50% win rate. But they're still overall good decks. You're looking at kind of like a lot of things that are not surprising to me in this meta report as well. Odd paladin, even paladin being number one are not very surprising as well. We've been talking about this for a while, but Baku and Gen are just super powerful cards and super busted cards. And until basically the rotation happens, I don't even know if the rotation will help at this point, because I was saying, oh man, the rotation will definitely help odd paladin kill it. I don't know if that is actually a possibility or not, to be honest, but you're looking at Hunter being on the rise because Druid was nerfed, essentially, right? And a lot of Hunter counters were also nerfed, and there's no more Druid being played at all. But then what you end up happening is, well, what counters Hunter? Paladin. So Paladin ended up just replacing a couple cards and rising to the top. Beforehand, we even saw even Paladin being a tier 2 borderline tier 1 deck anyway. So you're kind of already seeing like this was bound to kind of happen, right? So they kind of agree and kind of break it down here, but they say that both mid-range and hybrid and mid-range hunter are top tier, and the choice between them comes out to matchups you see. They said Uther is here to remind you that Gen and Baku are still busted. Both on and even paladins are firm entrenched at tier 1 until something significant changes in the meta. Things are worse for Exodia Paladin, which is continuing to suffer from recent meta shifts that have pushed out Spell Hunter in favor of other Hunter decks. They said mid-range Hunter has a more polarizing matchup spread and shines against slower opponents. With more Resurrect Priests and less Odd Paladins this week, the pendulum has swung in favor of the mid-range Hunter. The difference in the Resurrect Priest matchup close specifically is drastic. Hybrid Hunter goes 50-50 with the Priest, mid-range Hunter demolishes it with a 65% win rate. And kind of going down to the last area of this meta report, it's called the Class Analysis and Deck Lists. This is kind of the reason why I say to check out the show notes, because they have links to every single deck that was mentioned in the Vicious Syndicate report. So if you guys want a net deck, if you guys want the deck codes, you can check them out here. But it says, like, Hybrid Hunter is very interesting because it used to be what we would call Secret Hunter, which is kind of gone away and is kind of a combination of the two. It still runs secrets at the same time. It still runs some other cards as well. It's a very refined and very good deck. Subject 9, Deathstalker Rexar, Zul'jin, etc., etc. Mid-range Hunter is what you think mid-range Hunter is, and it is a very good deck as well, rounding it off as always at the end with now Master's Call, which is a really good card, as well as Deathstalker Rexar again and Savannah Highmane. Mid-range Hunter is doing fairly well in the meta. It's definitely a tier 1 deck, and it only costs 3,000 dust. I know I say only, but we are at the end of a year of Hearthstone, which means there's a lot of decks in the game right now that cost a lot of money, but keep in mind that it's probably the best bet for you guys to go to. I know personally my daughter, who has gotten into Hearthstone, has been playing mid-range Hunter. She doesn't have all the cards, obviously, but she has a good portion of them and can make this deck as well. Spell Hunter is on the down low because of Hybrid Hunter, etc., but it's still a very good deck, and if you guys are still running it, at least for your 5 wins for your card back, definitely go check it out. In recordings of Paladin, I just have to talk about this for a sec. Odd Paladin remains one of the best ladder decks in the game, dominating most matchups while not being completely out of any match it runs into. Priest and Warlock are the main predators of this deck, and with Priest's rise in play, Divine Favor becomes more important to include. We still like the option to flex it out for Witch's Cauldron. Even Paladin is arguably stronger, especially in the tournament scene due to how difficult it is to target the deck. Nearly every deck can make a couple of adjustments in order to gain percentage against Odd Paladin, but tech cards are less effective against Even Paladin since its game plan is much more flexible. So keep that in mind as well. So those are probably the 2 really good decks, but then at the same time, people are countering them with other decks, with Shaman, etc., etc. I personally haven't been playing much Hearthstone because of the meta, and I don't find the meta very fun, but I have been playing even Shaman, and I've also been playing actually a lot of Wild, something that we mentioned a couple of episodes back, but this is the month where you can qualify to be in the Wild Open if you get top 100, I believe, in Wild Ladder. So you're seeing a lot more people playing Wild. I've been actually having a lot of fun in Wild. Even though the decks are kind of more refined decks of Standard, at the same time, you're seeing a lot of cards that you wouldn't usually expect, and I find it pretty fun to play. So that's what I've been playing. I've been playing even Shaman in Wild, and a Murloc Paladin deck in Wild as well, which has been pretty fun. But yeah, check out this meta report. Check out everything that it has to offer. If you guys need deck codes and stuff like that, definitely check out vicioussyndicate.com as well as hsreplay.net for that information. Next article that we have, let me take a drink of water here real quick. So if you guys don't follow Twitch that often, Twitch announced in 2018 that they would be bringing over 100 events in 2019, kind of their own Twitch esports type of thing, which means that there's roughly going to be maybe 1 to 2 of them every single week, which seems to be a lot, but they're really growing their Twitch Rivals streams and stuff like that. If you guys want to go follow them, you can go check out rivals.twitch.tv, or you can go to twitch.tv/twitchrivals. And they kicked it off on January 15th, 2019 with a League of Legends qualifier challenge. And yeah. So, so what does this mean? Well, it basically means that every month they're going to have a certain amount of schedules happening where teams can win money from Twitch as well as other things. The reason why I bring this up is because there is a Hearthstone event happening with Twitch Rivals. So they've already had on January 15th a League of Legends qualifier challenge as well as a StarCraft 2 challenge on January 16th. Basically, what these esports events are is they're just for fun. The League one just had various community members, some pros in League, some streamers in League, and then some just kind of like random people who have been dabbling in League of Legends, and they have been playing for money. I believe that it was a best of one normals pretty much match. There was no like draft picking or anything like that you could choose, so there was a lot of like one trick players and stuff like that as well. Pretty fun to watch. The losers got 500, so just by entering, you're guaranteed at least $500. There's no way to qualify for these, just FYI. You need to be contacted by Twitch, so it's mostly going to be like, you know, content personalities, streamer personalities, pro players, and stuff like that. So you're not going to see like yourself or just a random Joe Schmo out there. So they're pretty fun. They've been Twitch pays out, which is really good, and it's just kind of like a way to kind of, in my opinion, give back to the community and have kind of like these community-driven events, but officially like on Twitch. So this month especially, they've been talking about a Hearthstone Arena Draft Team Challenge, which is going to be coming up on January 29th of this month. We don't have any details really about this. I was able to see some people who have tweeted out that they're entering or that they're going to be in it. But from what it seems like, it is an Arena Draft Challenge where it seems to be one of two things. I'm not 100% sure. It's going to be one where you draft the deck in Arena. You obviously can't choose more than 2 copies, but then you make that deck and you verse another player. The other one, which is more likely, is that you and a partner draft cards yourself, and then you see how far you can get in arena runs before you kind of like divvy up and end. Kind of like the dungeon we saw. I'm assuming a lot of big streamers, etc., in the Hearthstone community will be involved in this tournament. Probably, you know, the notable arena streamers, as well as the notable Hearthstone streamers. So once I get more information, we'll report back to you on this podcast and let you know what that event is. But just keep in mind, it is on January 29th, which is kind of a random date. It's 2 weeks from now on a Tuesday, which is kind of weird. So, but yeah. Once we'll probably have more information by next podcast about how everything's going. We already know that the hosts are going to be Frodan and TJ Sanders as well. So next up, this is kind of bundled up, but the last articles that we really have to talk about, which I believe are just going to be lumped into the same thing, but in your show notes, they are split up into different articles if you want to check out different regions, is Hearthstone Championship Tour is coming to its winter playoffs. Now, if you guys don't know, we don't know really, well, we kind of talked about it, but there are changing things for 2019. But this is going to be the last winter playoffs that is going to make ladder points matter. If you guys didn't hear, in 2019, they said they will be changing the Hearthstone ladder rules to make it so that ladder points don't matter and that you would just enter qualifier tournaments via online tournaments and stuff like that. So basically, what that means is that ladder is not going to be needed or wanted. So that will be interesting. You're also seeing that they did mention that they wanted tournaments to be more reflective of ladder in Hearthstone, which means probably only one deck you can bring. From what we've heard and from leaked rumors out of China that we've seen, and the guy who leaked, I think it's the same guy who leaked Rostakon's Rumble. He was saying that it will be one deck, best of 5, but you will be able to bring a sideboard of 10. There's something like 8 to 10 cards. So yeah. You're also looking at that being changed. So it's kind of interesting, but this is kind of just stuff that is kind of getting blazed through right now. There's not much to really mention. Most decks are pretty settled. A lot of Death Rattle Hunter, a lot of Autorogue, and a lot of Kubo came out of China, at least. Popular legendaries being Zilliax, Lich King, Deathstalk Rexar, Greymane, Blood Reaver Gul'dan, Leroy, etc., etc. Check out the articles, but the four pros that are going from China to the Hearthstone Championship, Winter Championship, are Lion King, Yu Ying, Kamio, and Ling Longjing, I guess. I don't know how to pronounce the names. Sorry if I butchered your names. I apologize. Next up, though, there is the EU Winter Playoffs or whatever. But the 4 players headed to the Winter Championship as well are Bunny Hopper, Viper, Thunder, and Folly. Viper actually was there, I think, last time, which is actually like super impressive to see him qualify. Again, you can check out the VODs on twitch.tv/play Hearthstone. Lastly, America is up last for whatever reason this time around, and they are going to be doing their Hearthstone Championship Tour Winter Playoffs this weekend, 8:30 a.m. on Saturday. No know why they don't do Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They do Saturday and Sunday, so we'll have to end up seeing what happens during this time. But you're looking at a lot of Secret Hunters, a lot of Control Priests, a lot of OTK Paladin, Odd Rogues, and even Warlocks as well. Remember that the meta kind of breaks down a little bit different because China goes first, and China has usually their own type of meta, but they study the metas from China, EU, and now Americas. So we'll have to see what ends up happening. You can once again check out all their deck lists and stuff from the show notes below, and you can literally check out every single person who has qualified, or at least big top pro players / streamers that have qualified and what they're going to be playing. I know Noblord's in here, Language Hackers in here, Racy's in here, Ant's in here, Muzzy's in here, Tyree, Monsanto, Hot Meowth, Bloody Face. I believe Dog's in here as well. Just Saiyan's in here, and he doesn't even need to qualify. He's already qualified for the World Championships. Sidonia, Amnesiac, Frozen is in here as well. Yeah, a lot of good players. It will be interesting. Firebat is in here. Killing All Day, which I believe qualified also, so he doesn't even need to be entered into this. Purple is in here. Apex Void is in here as well. Not bringing Mage, by the way. Yep, there's Dog is in here as well. So yeah, we'll report back next week with the results of America HCT as well as where the win, I should say, the Hearthstone American Championship playoffs will be. So it'll be interesting. But yeah, go check out those articles in the episode description if you want more information and more of a breakdown on them as well. Anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out with me on this episode. Like I said, told you it was going to be like a super short episode or whatever. Not much news, mostly esports type of stuff as well. But thanks for watching. We will definitely see you back here next week as always. Just ending the show with the usual. If you guys want to, you can check us out on Spotify and iTunes. Go check out the episode description for that, as well as if you want to check out unedited VODs of our show, check out our YouTube at Shigeos Twitch TV, SHIGEOS Twitch TV. You can also follow us and watch us live at twitch.tv/RyanKubo, RYANKUBO. And you can also follow me personally on Twitter and Instagram, both Ryan Kubo as well. Check out the show notes for all those links and stuff. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching episode 15 or listening to episode 15 of This Week in Hearthstone. I will catch you guys next week. Take care.